I'm I'm kind of thinking that there's a comparison between paintbrushes and golf clubs. Debra Huse, you probably have the answer to that question.
I do. I
What's the
can't wait to
story?
share it with you.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
Oh,
Oh,
wow. That was quick. Yeah, so I've got all these brushes, and everybody's always wondering why all these brushes and what different ones do different things. I mean, why do I have all these brushes? Well, it's kind of interesting story, Eric. I was taking a workshop many years ago with my friend Randy Sexton through the
he right.
gallery, and we were hosting him, and he was using a lot of brights at the beginning of his painting. I'm like, Randy, why are you using brights? I never use brights. Why are you using brights at the beginning? And he goes, because the bright pushes the paint into the canvas. That's all he said. I'm like, wow, I got to really think about that for a little while and find out what that means. So then I realized over trial and error at my studio then that the short brushes and the long brushes have different jobs. So I want to share all of the secret information so that your paintings will be easier to do, faster and better.
And how does that relate to golf clubs?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. When you're out on the course, you have different clubs for different jobs, and that's exactly what's the deal with brushes. So you wouldn't use a putter when you're going to tee off. And so I wouldn't use a rigger brush when I'm going to scrub in my big pieces. So I want to go through all that, show you the simple way, what brush to use when, so that you'll have more success with your paintings and your brushes will be your friends instead of fighting with you all the time. It would be way better.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and get set up? Well, welcome to Art School Live, everybody. We are here every weekday at 12 noon. Our guest today is Debra Huse. She's not only going to show you the brushes, but she's also going to start a painting. And so you're going to get a chance to see how she uses the brushes in the process of starting a painting. And maybe we'll see how far she gets it. And this is a really, really important lesson. We've never done this. And I'm looking forward to it because I know there are things I don't know about use of brushes. And I know that sometimes I'm using the wrong brush, but I don't know what the right brush is. So you want to be here for this. This is going to be really good. We're not talking brand names. We're just getting into what types of brushes you want. So let's get the show officially started.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rose.
Our guest today is Debra Huse, and she's with Huse Skelly Gallery, and she's a rock star, incredible painter, very brilliant plein air painter, and really pretty nice person in general too. And we both share that we both came originally from Indiana. Don't hold that against us. I know you Indiana people are going to get mad at us. So look at some of her artwork, though. She is a rock star. Look at that. I mean, this feels to me, if I look at that, I say, you know what? This feels like Edgar Payne from 1930, just has that really rich quality, the really sophisticated look. And you're going to learn a little bit about how to do that today. What else do we have? Nice, very nice. That looks like a plein air piece. It looks like it's in Maine. Oh, look at that, baby. I like that. Okay. So you're going to learn a little bit about how to paint today. You're going to learn a lot about brushes. And let's get right to Debra Huse. What
Hi.
on earth is this?
I know. This is a cool little sketch I have of a green skiff that I thought I would use it to demonstrate how to use all these great brushes and why.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what I thought I would do, Eric, is first talk about the different brushes real quick. So you can see on here, these are called short flats or brights. And if you
Oh, wait,
wondered
wait.
what,
So a bright and a flat are the same thing?
well, this is a long flat. Let me show you. And a short flat right here. And see how the bristles are much longer on a long flat than a short flat.
Yeah.
So a short flat is also called a bright, just depends on what brand you're using.
Okay.
And they have different jobs. So once I figured this out, it made my life a lot easier. So what I'd like to do is share that with everybody because I think a lot of people not sure what to use, when to use what brush. And I have a whole method that I like to share where I start with my thin darks and then I go to my thicker paint. When I start with my thin darks, I start with only with brights. And so they scrub in, they push into the canvas, they push the paint in beautifully. So I want to show you how to do that. And
Okay.
then we're going to switch to our long flats. The longer bristles really lay paint on top on thick. And I'm going to show you how to scoop it up and lay it on nice and thick.
All right.
And then there's also, softer brushes that are more also meant for the end of the painting, where you pick up paint and you lay it on really softly on top of the other passages. And
Okay.
so they all have jobs. And then last but not least is my favorite rigger brush. It's the long hairs on it add detail easily. So I want to show you how to do that.
Okay. Outstanding.
Cool.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right, so let's just start real quick. If you see my reference photo, it's got some darks and some lights. So my sun is coming from the right-hand side, and the left-hand side of the painting is dark. So what I'm going to do is I always start with my darks, Eric, always. And I just go ahead and pick it up on a bright brush or short flat, and I scrub. So I want to show you.
Just 1 second, real quickly. I'm just going to show the reference photo, then I'll put it in the corner. So there's
Oh,
the
thank you.
reference photo. All right. And then here it is in the corner. Okay.
Cool.
Now, you scrubbing.
Yeah, so this is the short, flat, or the bright. And I just wanted to show you on the side here. When I do that, I put the brush down and I push into the canvas. And what it does is it creates this beautiful translucency. And that way your darks are not really, really heavy anymore. They have translucent passages and they are so much more beautiful to use in a painting. And so I'm using my anchor green here and scrubbing that in this dark area.
By the way, Debra has her own colors, and they are a must for every palette. And by the way, I'm not getting paid to say this.
Oh, that's
I
kind.
use them. And she has 3 colors, unless there's more now. She has one called Anchor Green, one called Signal Red, and one called Marine Blue. And I have had such great success with these colors because they're tough colors to mix, and it just is a convenience.
Yeah, thank you. And it's fun. I just want to show you too, in this thin passage, this is another one of my little secrets. Not only do you want to do it thin and push into it, so you're not laying it on thick at all, but you can take different colors. I could even take a red, a crimson, alizarin crimson. I could scrub it right into that and change colors in my dark passage. And so it adds, you can add, as long as it's the same value, you can play around with pushing colors into these darks, but it only works with the short flat. So I just wanted to show you how you can do the short flat with different colors. And sometimes I'll go from green to red to purple to blue. Let me just grab some blue, show you. I can scrub that right into my dark green area. And it changes colors in the painting. It adds a lot of luminosity to the dark, yet the viewer won't really notice. They'll just know they love it.
Yeah.
And so it makes it interesting.
So that's one of the tricks, is to put a little variety in areas.
Right. And as long as you keep it thin, because darks do not like to be thick. If you put a dark in thick, it just sits there like it just sucks all the life out of a painting. So you have to keep them nice and thin.
Okay, you guys have questions, make sure you do this. Where can I purchase these paints? You can get them at Debra's website, 𝗕𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏.com. Is that right?
No, it's just 𝗕𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗵.
Debra Huse.
And and I do have a section, especially for today. I'm giving away a free brush guide that tells all the stuff that we're going to talk about today. So if you go to my website and then go to art supply links, it has all sorts of cool stuff for you to check out.
Okay. Debra is a bit of an entrepreneur.
Yes. Well, is it the Hoosier in me? What is it?
Yeah, I know, me too. Anyway, it's great stuff. I don't endorse things typically, but it's good stuff. Really
Okay,
good.
I want to show you something interesting, Eric, too. Because of all this green, the boat is green, the water is blue, and we're going to change stuff around. And I'm trying to find ways to add red into my painting. So I'm adding a light preserver here, and I'm just adding the dark side right now because my sun is coming from the right-hand side. And I want to add a dark red boot stripe down here too on this boat. And over here, I'm going to let it shine in the sunlight. And so just so I remember that it's there. I'll put it in dark first, but I'm going to add sunlight over here.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and so it'll make for more interesting painting than to just follow what I'm looking at. I never like to do that. So I'm going to find ways to not only make this green, but put some pinks kind of tones, red tones and pink tones in there too for complementary colors.
All right.
Okay, so then this side is also dark. Well, we've got a shadow right here from the boat. This side is also dark, but it's kind of a medium dark. Well, let's look at the four colors. The sunny side is a really light green with a viridian and yellow possibly, which I'm going to mix. This is a medium value green. It's not terribly dark. The real darks are in this reflection, which is neat. So even the sunny side will reflect a little bit darker and warmer. So that means we really have four different values and four different colors of green, which I think is so fun. And basically I've got really almost all my darks in already. Going to go ahead and put a little dark shadow right here with my viridian on the green side of the boat. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch now from short flats, which is up here, to my longer flats. And the reason is,
so you've already sparked a question.
oh, good.
All right. So you're using the short flat to scrub in thin for your darks, but you don't scrub everything else in?
No, because once I get past my darks, I start to lay it on thick. And so I want to have a nice, juicy painting here. And because this side is not that dark, I'm counting it as not a dark. I'm counting it as a value of, say, 5. And so it's going to be darker than the sunny side, but it's not going to be full on dark. So I have a choice there. I could scrub that in too if I wanted to.
So you've used a couple terms. I just want to show people real quickly because we like to translate for people who might not know art and don't know some of these terms. So she talked about values, and values mean dark to light. So this would be a value scale, light being 1. She said it would be about a number 4, right? So it's a middle light, not completely dark. She also talked about complementary colors. So here's a color wheel. A complementary color is the opposite. So if you looked at red and you went directly across from red, you would see green. That's a complementary color. Will you explain just briefly? You said you're going to put some pink into your green, which would be a variation of red versus green. So why are you putting them together?
Okay, well, it's very interesting what the color wheel does. The opposite of green on the color wheel is red. So if I want to tone down my green, I actually take a little bit of red or a pink, a lighter value of red, and mix it into the color. It will tone it down. But if I put it next to it, like here, it will make this green pop. So when the complementary colors are next to each other, they show each other off and they pop. And when they're mixed together, they gray down. So this is a whole color wheel secret. And I depend on that color wheel every day, every time I paint.
Yeah, me too.
So, and it comes from painting in pastel. And I did a lot of pastel paintings a while back. And for 20 years, I painted in pastel. And I learned a lot about the color wheel with pastel because you do a lot of layering. So I decided on this side of the boat, Eric, I would just scoot on over to my viridian on my palette instead and go ahead. It does seem to scrub in as a little bit lighter of a tone. And look at that. It works beautifully. And I'll be able to get this side of the boat scrubbed in. So that way I am using my scrub in method on the dark side of the green boat.
And it already looks like texture. So it has a feel like you can see this. You don't have to put the stripes of the wood in or anything.
Exactly. I'm glad you noticed that. And you know what I love about scrubbing is I like to have it be loose and messy. So please don't fix when you scrub because then it loses all its je ne sais quoi. So I like to have it look like confident brushwork, and just get it in and move on to the next thing.
Okay.
There's no time for dilly-dallying.
Dilly-dallying is
no time for dilly-dallying. Hey, there's 2 other things you can never do with a brush. You know what they are?
No.
You can don't ever dab into your painting with a brush because I'll walk up and go, oh, you just dabbed all those spots. That looks terrible. And you never swipe either. So you don't want to just be scared and swipe a note of a brush. You just want to set I'm going to show you how to set the brush down, pull a stroke, and leave it alone. That's my whole MO, baby.
Okay, baby.
Okay, so let's go now to this color, which is kind of the next value in our boat. So this is the reflection of the sunny side in the water. And I see it, I always see a lot of boats, the reflections are always warmer. And of a light side of a boat, the reflection is going to be darker. And the dark side of the boat often is lighter, except in this
Okay,
instance.
so let's explain that to everybody. Okay. For those of you who understand this, I get it. But warmer versus cooler. So if you look at the color wheel, there are warm colors and there are cool colors. So they would be divided. You can see here, there are cool colors and warm colors. So you said the reflections typically are warmer than what? Warmer than they're darker?
Yeah, right here. You can look in our actual photo. This green has got a sunny side of the green, but it's a little bit cooler than the reflection because the reflection has a little more orange into it, and it makes it just a tad bit warmer.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I mixed up a value that I believe is going to work nicely. I want to make sure it's got plenty of orange. Greens are interesting. You know, you have to lighten the green to the value you want. Then you have to warm it back up with some different colors, whether it's yellow or orange or red, even sometimes works, red, orange. So we want to get this nice and thick. So I'd like to, if I pick up paint, I scoop it up just like a shovel, Eric. It's really fun. And I learned that from Ken Oster. So, you know, I've along the way taken many workshops with my friends, and you learn so much. It's incredible. So don't stop taking workshops, everybody. And you can just turn the brush over, then I'm going to lay it on nice and thick like this so you can see the difference is to pull a stroke, set and pull, and then go next to that stroke, set and pull, and don't go over because then you end up with my F word. Oops. Do you know what that is, Eric? My F word?
I'm afraid to ask.
Futzing.
Futzing.
No futzing, man.
Don't
You
fuss.
got, you know what? Because people tend to fuss over their paintings and their brushwork, and they mess up all the beauty
Yeah.
by, you know, worrying over their brushwork. And I'd like to say, you know, it's okay to just put it in there, lay it down, and leave it alone. If it's
Hello,
not perfect,
Greece.
yeah. If it's
Hello.
not perfect, who cares?
Hello, Greece. Hello, France. Love you guys. Hello, Canada. Nice.
Wow, that's exciting.
Okay, Carl's got a question. When laying in thin darks, does directional brush strokes come into play?
No, that I'm glad that he asked that question because here I happened to just scrub this way, and here it actually did work because it looked like part of the boat. But normally I do a very 𝗕𝗄𝗂𝘀𝗵, very casual scrubbing because I'm working quickly, just like down here. I try not to do too many strokes in a certain direction. I like to keep it rather loose so that it has its own character. Because again, I think if you fix it, then you're fussing too much. Futzing. We don't want to do that.
No fussing.
So
No
now,
fussing.
yeah, I hope that helps.
Yes.
And so now I'm going to move into my lighter green. So this is my
Okay.
Viridian with white. And I just want to make sure that I clean my brush.
Before you do that, I'm going to take a quick break. Hello, Yorkshire, England. So don't lay any paint down yet. Just put your brush away and we'll be right back. Our guest today is Debra Huse, and we're talking about the right brushes at the right time, learning, in case you tuned in late, learning which brush to use for which purpose. And we got a whole bunch of brushes we still have to do. And so you want to stay tuned for that. We got a big event coming up, and Debra will probably talk about it a little bit because she's always a part of it somehow. We have an event where it's the largest group of artists that get together physically in the world. We all get together, we hang out, and we paint together for a few days, 5 days, as a matter of fact. We go painting together. We watch lessons from the world's top masters together. It's called the Plein Air Convention. Watch this now.
Every artist deserves a chance to discover what they're truly capable of. This is yours. Join the world's top painters for 5 days of immersive learning, creativity, and connection in the most picturesque regions of Lake Tahoe and Reno.
I enjoy the scenery, I enjoy the locations, and I enjoy meeting people.
With hands-on coaching, 5 stages, plus daily painting sessions and a community of passionate creators, you'll grow your skills like never before.
It's a wonderful experience. I mean, it's a wealth of information. I got personal instruction from 𝗘𝗶𝘂𝘀𝗵. Do you believe that? I'm so excited.
It's just awesome to hear other people talk about painting.
At PACE, you're not just learning, you're connecting. Build lifelong friendships with like-minded artists who share your passion. This is where ideas spark, creativity flourishes, and your next breakthrough begins.
I would say just go for it.
As long as I'm living and able, I will come to these. Just sign up and go.
Don't wait, seats are limited. Join us at the Plein Air Convention and Expo in Lake Tahoe and Reno. Secure your spot now.
It's epic, and there were, as of Friday, when we did a thing called Scratch Your Plein Air Itch. There were 158 seats left. Now there are a lot fewer. We offered a special discount, and so if you're interested, go watch Scratch Your Plein Air Itch. It's on Art School Live on YouTube. Go find it from Friday and watch it. You can get that discount, but it also really describes the plein air movement, what you can do, how you can get involved, and everything like that. We're going to get back to our guest and our brush in a second here, but first we have a free gift for you, and we want you to grab this if you're new. 97 Art Secrets. It's 2 hours of art instruction from several different of our artists. This is a sampler, and you get it for free. You can get it instantly in streaming, which is what most people do now. But if you want a DVD, we can still provide that for you too. You just got to pay the shipping. Just go to 97artsecrets.com/ASL. I also want to mention that our guest today, Debra Huse, has a couple of really incredible videos out. Let's show those now. This one's called Impressionism with Debra Huse. You see how she paints, and then you have the other one, which is called Impressionistic Brushwork. They're both excellent instructional courses, and you can get them at painttube.tv, where you're going to find a couple hundred others as well. Now we're going to get back and paint the bright color on the boat, which is always the fun part. Okay, Debra.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me back. You know what? I cannot wait for PACE. The Plein Air Convention in Reno and Tahoe. Tahoe is so beautiful. We are going to have a blast.
Oh, yeah. We got some great painting locations, too.
I can't wait. Oh, I heard that we were going to go to an old town.
We're going to do Virginia City, an old Western town, and we're all wearing our Western wear when we paint.
Oh, nice.
Optional, of course, if you're not one who wears Western wear.
So I want to tell you what I'm doing here. I've got my long flat now. I would not use my short flat anymore. A long flat brush works beautifully to scoop up the paint, turn the brush over. I want to lay it on here, and it can go in any direction you want. And you just go ahead and scoop up some more paint. I don't want to go over any of it. And then I just want to leave it for now. So I can add more information later if I want, but I like to just get my big pieces in so that I can go from there and adjust from there.
All right.
So we're getting there. And since the sun is on the right-hand side, I'd like to push the shadow of the boat in here. So I work from dark to light, definitely. And I think you do that in pretty much every, I don't know, do you do that in watercolor too, dark to light? No, the darks go last.
Well, some people are painting dark to light now. Most people paint the opposite.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because in pastel, you're going to want to do pretty much dark to light too. And I was thinking about brushes in pastel. Well, I'm going to lay in a shadow side of my boat right now with marine violet and white, which we've found is like the most beautiful answer for what is white in the shade. So I'm
Hey,
going to go
Deborah,
ahead. Yeah.
I've just been given permission to do something today.
What?
I'm going to do it at the end of the show, but we have been holding off on our announcement for our next major trip. And I have just got an email that says I'm allowed to mention it today. It was, we gave previous trip attendees notice last night, and they were given just yesterday to go ahead and book. I don't know whether they have or not, but so you're going to be the first to hear about this trip.
I can't wait. When are you going to tell us?
I'm going to tell you at the end of the show.
Oh, the end of the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to finding out where that is. You
So,
go
what
so many.
colors did you use in there to make that blue?
Yes, this is my marine violet, the Hughes marine violet that I have made because I can never find a purple. It looks very blue here because the purple is more on the blue side, and that's why it doesn't go pink or anything. And the way I want it to be in here is just white in the shadow. So if
I
you look
just-
at the,
I
yeah,
just ran out. I was doing a painting and I needed it. I used it and I squeezed out every bit of last in my tube. I'm here in Florida. I have some extra at home, but I don't have it here. So I'm like, oh no. And
oh, no
unfortunately,
is
I'm
right.
leaving here this week. So I'm going to have to finish that painting.
It's
next
it's a great color. I mean, I just looked all over the market for a purple that didn't fight with me, and so I ended up always mixing it on my palette, which I just mixed it from ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and a little bit of raw sienna to knock it down. That's that old color wheel thing, and to knock it down makes it just a little more muted, and that way I don't have to use gray. And so this marine violet to me is white in the shadow, as you can see in the photo down here in the corner. The sun is coming from the right-hand side and it's hitting the sunny side of the boat is over here and the shadow interior of the boat is here. So I'm putting in my shadow of the interior of the boat with my marine violet, and then I'll blast the nice sunny part over here. So I want to put next into my boat, I want to put a couple of seats real quick, get my beautiful life preserver vest, the sunny part of it on, the sunny part of the boot stripe on, and then we're going to just lay in all sorts of super thick paint. All that happens with my long flats.
Okay.
And you know, long flats come in all different sizes. So let's just show a couple real quick. These are 3 long flats, and you can see with one hand if I can get them all to go the right direction. But it's a 2, a 4, and a 6. So if you're confused by the numbers on the brushes, usually it means the width. So it makes it also wider and longer. And so on a bigger painting, you would use bigger brushes. So this number 2 is this little one right here. The number 4 is the medium size, but they go all the way up to, you know, like size 20, which I have all the sizes for my big paintings.
Yeah.
But the long flats allow you, again, just go over it again. The long flats allow you to scoop up the painting on your palette, the paint on my palette. I turn it over and I lay it on nice and thick in all different directions.
We
Let's talk
will
about how to
we will show Deborah's palette at the end of the show.
Oh, okay, thank you. To hold the brush too, you want to hold it overhand. And that way you can turn it in all these different directions to lay paint on your
Oh.
canvas. And that's why people do that, because if you hold it kind of like, you know, a pen like this, you're going to end up noodling things too much. So try holding the brush overhand just like that, and a very light touch, Eric. So, you know, you push hard on the thins, but when you get to these thicks, you have to do a very light touch where you set the brush and you pull a light touch. In my workshops, I like to hold people's hand and show them how it feels to set it and pull it. And then they go, oh, I was doing it, you know, this way. So it's fun to learn to really slow down and have a gentle touch with your brushes.
Oh, nice.
I know, except for scrubbing. Then you got to push. Okay, so I think for this little the red part on our light preserver, I'm going to go ahead and use my number 2, which is the smaller size long flat. And I'll go ahead and just lay on some sunny red, which is basically the my signal flag red. It's a red orange. And you just find the sunny side of the light preserver itself. And then I try to leave little dark notes. So I'm going to have just a little bit over here. And then I like to switch it up. So one side might be orange, one side might be pink. Just so that there's some variety in that actual color. And it makes it so much more fun to look at. And just set down a real light touch like that, right on top. There we go. And that way I've got my pink next to my green and my red next to my green. And this is very complimentary.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hey
I mean,
guys, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the use of your brushes as tools, how to use different brushes for different purposes. We have people watching from all over the world. Make sure you tell us where you're watching from. Okay, what are you doing there? It looks like I can't tell what color it is.
I know it's kind of the same color as the background, but I wanted to get in a little piece of my little seat. There's 2 seats in here, and I'll get the shadow side too real quick so that I have that shadow side there. That's better.
So if you're using acrylics and you don't have the ability to get marine violet, the signal red, how do you mix that?
Oh, the signal flag red, I like working with the 𝗘𝗰𝗵. 𝗘𝗰𝗵, if you can get that in any color, because it's almost green. It's so cold. It's the coldest yellow you can buy. Doesn't have any orange in it already. And I love it mixed with the 𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 red, which is also the coldest red you can get. It's like a magenta. When you mix those 2 colds together, that makes the most beautiful warm. It's crazy. It makes the most beautiful red orange and the most beautiful orange that you've ever seen. So write down quinacridone red and cad yellow lemon and try mixing those together to get some really super beautiful warms. And then I like to use a teeny bit of orange into my white. So here's another secret about white. So white in the shade is this marine violet kind of a color, but white in the sun is this beautiful, brilliant, much more brilliant. I have to take the paint off of my brush. Much more brilliant, sunny. Look at how pretty that color is. And see how I got glops and everything in there. I like to leave all that stuff in there because so people can enjoy the color and the thickness of the brushwork. And so I'm just going to try to quickly lay in some sunny parts of my boat. And in between the seats and over here. And see the thick paint, Eric, and you don't have to go over it. You should just try to set it down and leave it alone. If you have little mistakes, don't worry about it because later you can clean it up if you have to. But sometimes, one time I was at a workshop and somebody that we know and love, who is a very big name, was doing a painting and I was watching. It was a him. I won't say who, but there was this glop somewhere that I just loved. It was my favorite part of the whole painting. And then when he went and fixed it, everybody gasped. It was really funny because it was such a cool little accident. And so that taught me right then and there, if I have a cool little accident, I try to just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question from Gain Georgianne Derleith. Deborah, do you prefer cad orange or cad yellow deep?
Oh, I don't use those.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I call my palette the keep you out of trouble palette, because when I use the cad orange and the naphthol red and all the crazy, crazy colors, I end up having to try to tone them down all the time. And so I have found that if I just mix all of my oranges and yellows from my cold lemon yellow, cadmium lemon yellow, and the quinacridone red, that they're slightly less intense. And I like that because I am already very colorful. And so to have every color blasting their horn is too much. So I've tried to find ones that work super well together. They don't fight with each other and they aren't too loud because I want them to do what I want, instead of having their own voice. So that's why I mix my own purple and my own reds and oranges. So that's a little note I just wanted to add on my sunny side.
And
And
it
maybe
harmonizes so beautifully with that green.
it does. And it also complements it. I mean, and now on this shadow side over here, I think I'll go into a little alizarin crimson with a teeny bit of white and just lighten this up just a little bit so it's still dark. See that? So it's still
Yep.
dark, but not too dark.
Question
So I
from
s-
Carl. How do you quickly lay and leave alone a soft edge against thick, fresh paint?
Oh, okay. What I like to do, oh, well, we'll be doing that in just a minute. I'm going to go around and lay in some really thick paint around my boat. So I like to get my boat in first and then do the thick paint. But I go ahead and carve right into the edge. And then if I want to soften it, I simply take uh, any brush, really, but I like using my number 2 long flat. And I go along without red paint on it, by the way, because right now it's got red paint on it. I clean the brush really good, Eric, and we'll do that in a minute. I can soften an edge by going on top of both colors, and it just blends it all by itself,
All
which
right.
is super cool. I know.
Yeah,
And so
we're
that
learning
way,
a lot today.
oh, fun. We have to paint together more often. We'll have to paint together in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's get out. Oh, let's see. I've got my number 6 long flat, and I want to start doing the water here pretty soon. And how are we doing on time? We still have a
We're
little bit
okay.
of time.
What
Oh,
kind of
good.
white are you using?
I like just titanium white.
Okay.
And oh, yes.
Well, look
Okay.
how sunny that looks. And that's just amazing. Just
How,
feels bright.
which part do you like the best?
Well, the boat just feels like it's in sun.
Oh, good. That is wonderful news. That makes me happy. I think I might brighten up my seat a little bit, give it a little more zing. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to give it a little yellow orangey feel. It's the only way you can tell it's a seat because it comes against the side over here. Guess. Okay. So there we go. We've got seats, we've got a boat, we've got a life preserver. Sometimes I like to put a little more dark edges on my life preserver to make it just be a little bolder.
Okay.
But let's go with the rigger brush right now and lay
Okay.
on
Will you
some
show the rigger
edges.
brush and show
Yeah.
that to everybody? By the way, hello, Prague, Czechoslovakia, or Czechia now in Europe. Hello, Hugo. Got a worldwide audience today, Deborah. You're
That's
pulling it in.
awesome. That's
Hello,
great.
Netherlands. McKinsey, welcome.
Gosh, I've been traveling all over the world this year too and painting. It's been fantastic. Just enjoying all of the experience. It's so inspirational to be in a new land. And I've been very fortunate to be doing all sorts of fun trips, just like Eric Rhodes.
Well, I like to hook up with wrong words. I like to connect with the people that are in the chat and go visit them when I travel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about this rigger brush, Eric, because when people try to lay on, see, I had all this thick paint right here, and I'm laying a highlight edge on the top of the boat. And when they do that with a little teeny detail brush, ones that are super short, really short hairs, detail brushes, which everybody seems to have, then what happens is just like the short flat, it digs into the surface.
Yeah.
But if you get yourself some longer, like script brushes or rigger brushes, which I have lots of these rigger brushes, they have the script brush has a square edge on the top and it makes it a beautiful line. So let me just show you. I'm down in my rigger area. I can show you just maybe with some red. You just use the tip of the brush and you just set it and pull it. Oops. And it makes like branches on a tree if you want them all wiggly, or you can just set a line and pull real quick across, and it makes just beautiful, delicate lines of detail. And that's what the rigger brush is for.
If you missed from the beginning, there's a question in the comments. In the beginning, she uses brights and uses that to scrub in the shadows and create transparency. And then she abandons the brights and moves into long flats. And now she's in rigger brush.
Yeah, and so each brush has its job, and it helps when you know how to use which brush for which job, because all of a sudden now this has been really easy for me to get these highlights that I wanted on the edge. And also I like to say, I usually do a dot and a line. So I like to do with rigger brush when I'm doing a painting, I'll just do a line and a dot and a line and a dot. And so it gives unusual shape to any kind of an edge. So it's not, if it's continuous, it's too stiff, and it causes a lot of tension in a painting. And so you
Draws the
just
eye
want
too much.
you just want to try to set it and pull a line and dot and then pull another line, so that around here, these little things break up. They're not continuous. Like this one might be a little too continuous. And if it is, I just break it like that. So that this kind of thing can be very exciting in a painting, to do a little bit of line breaking where you break the tension, and it kind of creates a little passageway or doorway from one shape to another shape. And so I do that at the end of the painting quite a bit. And I think it's really exciting. It adds a lot of feel of impressionistic feel to the painting.
Yeah, whenever you
without-
have a hard edge, you want to break it up and give it a little variety. There's a question here from Sanita Mather, wondering if Debra ever uses filberts or eggberts.
Oh, interesting. Yes, I do have some eggberts that I like to use. And I don't use filberts because, as they say, the more you work with them, they turn into flats. And filberts just means that it's rounded on the edge, the top edge. I love the shape of the square of the flats. And so that's my preference. I don't really have filberts anymore, because sometimes when I'm trying to make an edge of something, the filberts are round, they leave a funny mark to me. So I think that these leave a more confident, the flat and straight edges leave a more confident feel to my brushwork. And this is an Egbert style rigger brush. This one, long, meaning it's very long. And then these are some softer ones too. These are red sable, like one-shot brushes, or different. They have different names, but they're very soft. And these are meant to use at the very end when you're trying to just really lay a little piece somewhere that you really want to be just more beautiful and delicate. And it sets on top so nicely with a super light touch. That's what these softer ones are for. And I was going to mention before, like in pastel, you work same thing. You work harder pastels to softer pastels, darker to lighter. And that's pretty much everything that I do in my paintings would be the same exact kind of a plan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys
So
should
then,
come and watch Debra paint at the Plein Air convention. She just set up next to her and watch her.
well, I am doing a demo on stage. I can't wait to do that. That's going to be super exciting. And I'll do again, because you'll be able to see up close and personal with those big screens they have. Friends, if you haven't been to the pastel or to the Plein Air convention, it's a blast. And you can go in and out of any demo, right, Eric? I mean, you don't have to stay put in one.
That's
You can
right.
just,
There's five stages you can go to.
that's what I love,
that. I
because
love that you left that glob on that one brush stroke. It really makes it.
isn't that fun? And I did a little yellow by accident, but I'm going to leave that too, because that was a nice little accident. And I want to make sure that behind my sunny part over here that I get a little darker blue tone, but I don't want it the same as my shadow. So I'm trying to find maybe what that might be.
What
And I
was the
wanted-
blue you used for the lighter blue?
I used ultramarine blue with white. And look at that's a Midwest term if I've ever heard it.
Look at.
look at. So I'm I'm on a flat brush, and I'm on a number 6, a bigger one. I'm going to try to just change colors as I go all the way around this boat. I haven't gotten the little dock in yet, but I just want to show you that you can just pick up some really thick paint. You can go in any direction you want. And then I try to just maybe merge into this with a dot and a dash and leave it alone. And so then I'm changing around here. Now, when I get near my sunny side, so right now I have darker against lighter, lighter against darker. Can you see that?
Yep.
So it shows off my sunny side of my boat with a little bit darker water. I didn't carry this water over because it would have been a little weak.
Anytime you have a dark next to a light, it makes the light appear brighter.
Right on. That's exactly right. You can't have light without dark. And so Now I want to do that here too. I want to have a darker tone next to here, and I want to show off my green. So I'm wondering if I can't go, gosh, I don't know if I can get away with this. Let's
Let's
just see
try
what,
it. Let's try it.
let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I put some pink right into my blue.
What size
And
canvas is that? Is that like a what is that?
6x8.
6
Well,
by
I mean,
8?
the painting part is a 6x8.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. No, let's see if I just get some purpley blue here. It's got a lot of pink in it. Now I don't want to touch any of that. I'm trying to go around the shape of my boat. And when I change this color, no one's going to notice that the water changed color. They'll just go, oh, look at how, pretty that is, or how interesting that is to look at. Maybe a little darker right next to my boat to show it off. And this is part of my reflection down here. It's gotten a little bit dark. I think I'll go a little wiggle next to it. There we go. That way it kind of has a little something or other going on. And it's going to change all the way around the boat. Now, what do I want down here? I think I might really be bold and go pinker. Let's see what happens.
Ooh, okay.
I know, because it's funny. People don't realize what you can get away with when you're
You
painting.
don't have to do what the photo shows.
No, absolutely not. And I'd like to just go even pinker so you can really see what happens. Getting lots of white paint, big piles on my palette. Oh my gosh. So what happens now? Maybe it's reflecting something out of the sky that we can't see, right? I mean, maybe there's some super cool clouds up in the sky. And I just going around everything. Thick paint. I don't want to fix it. I don't want to fuss over it. I want to get on some nice, big, thick pieces and bring it with confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. So now I'll go ahead and switch back a little bit bluer if I want to. Really, I could go in almost any color over here. And I just want to get these pieces laid in. I'm trying not to get too into this, but let's wiggle this edge a little bit. A little bit here just for fun. And what happens if we do this? Here's another fun thing to do. What happens if we try this? Go, oh, let's see, set this down and just pull it ever so slightly up. Ever so slightly up. And
Nice.
isn't that fun? It just adds this, again, little bit of confidence, little bit of je ne sais quoi, little bit of fun into the edges so that they're not so hard. I'm going to go back to my short flat and scrub in a raw sienna here, Eric. This is just part of the dock. And I like to keep my darks thinner, so I don't want to leave them too gloppy. And so I just push that around. And then it's got a sunny side to the dock, which you can kind of see it in the photo. And is the photo still down there? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So then I'm just going to add a little sunlight onto the top of my dock. And, when I crop this off, you'll be able to tell it's a dock. And then we'll add a line.
Are you thinning your paint with anything?
No, that's another thing I think is a troublemaker, especially for beginners. Don't thin your paint, especially, I would suggest don't trying any mediums. I would also suggest to not use any Gamsol in this paint. So if your paint is super thick, you could dip ever so slightly into the Gamsol. But if you get it too wet, one, you can't get thick passages. And two, it'll just look all drippy and messy, and then it turns to mud quick. You don't want mud. We know we don't want mud, at least. And so I'm getting really far along with trying to show how the brushwork, I hope you can see all of this different techniques and having fun. I'm trying to have some fun with my coloring, my red against the green, my red against the green. So in the photo, the boat doesn't have a boot stripe or doesn't have a bottom color like this, but a lot of boats do. And so I sneak that in wherever I can. And I'll tell you why. Because most people's paintings are green and blue. I mean, think about it. There's green trees, there's blue water, there's blue sky, there's green. I mean, it's like, give me a break, find a way to get some reds and some oranges and some beautiful colors into your paintings. And it's funny you mentioned Edgar Payne earlier, because I was reading one of his books because I do admire him very much. And in that book, I couldn't believe my eyeballs. It said, push some red into your painting wherever you can. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been saying that for how long?
Yep.
And I didn't realize that I loved his paintings because he does that. It's so funny. It just like, wow, that was cool. It was a
All
moment.
right. We're going to give you like 2 more minutes. Oh,
I try to get a little
then
line in there
we're
with my
going to
rigger
announce
brush.
where the trip is. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, tell us all about it. I'm about
No,
done.
no,
You can go for it.
I have a graphic and everything. I'll wait till you're done.
Okay. Did you want me to try to turn my camera down to show the palette? Or should
Yes,
we just
we
take
can
a
do that.
picture and share it?
Yeah.
I'd like to try to get real quick. I want to get this one little piece that's right here and see if I can't get a little piece right here. Yeah, there we go. It's that little ridge of the boat. This ridge is here for a reason on a boat, because when it's plowing through the water, this little ridge helps the water to flow off to the side and not go up and over into the boat. And it allows for the boat to go more easily, thank you, more easily through the water. And so some of these nice clean strokes would be just a great way to highlight this area. But you'll notice also, Eric, real quick, my focal point is this red. And if you do 1/3 on your canvas, 1/3, 1/3, when this intersects is right in this part where the line goes, the green and the red meet, and that's your focal point.
Yep.
And that should also be nice, juicy paint. So I'd actually would add a little more juicy paint to my red life preserver. But overall, this has got thins in the dark, thicks in the light. It's juicy, it's confident, it's fun. Give it a try.
All right. Yeah, show us your palette real quickly, and then we'll have the big announcement.
Okay, sure. Let me set I always hold about 5 or 6 brushes in my hand, so that's always tricky. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. Here we go.
All right. So
Ah.
tell us your colors real quickly.
Okay, sure. Well, over here is lemon yellow. I used it all up. And then I had mixed a yellow orange, and I had mixed an orange. I used it all up too. Look at that. This orange just mixed from quinacridone red and lemon yellow. I used the heck out of that one and this one. This is the signal flag red from my paints I have made. Quinacridone red, raw sienna, and I use raw sienna instead of yellow ochre because I feel that it comes in more handy and more ways. It's a little bit darker. I use it in my sand. I use it as a basis for any dark yellow. It works great. Then we have alizarin crimson, a super nice, thin, transparent, dark. Marine violet, which again is a great transparent dark. It is transparent, but it also mixes to this lighter value, which is white in the sun. I mean, sorry, white in the shade. White in the shade, white in the sun's down here. So you always have to think, where's the sun, where's the shadow, right, Eric? I mean, that's important. It's killer. So then we have ultramarine blue. I had a big pile of that mixed here, but I kept changing it for my water. I
Yeah.
kept adding to that pile. And then I had mixed a lighter version of Viridian, which I love. Once you add white and yellow to Viridian, you get the most beautiful colors. With just white, it's more of an aqua, blue almost. And then when you add yellow, it turns to this very vibrant green. This is my anchor green that I have developed in my line of paint, and it's the transparent, super dark, warm green. And then I had some grays out over here just in case grays, but I never had to use any of them. And then down at the bottom, I use long line of white because see, it's really hard to find clean white.
Yeah.
And so if you mix this into your yellow, all of a sudden you've got a very dirty color. So you need to keep this clean or keep lots of white out so you can keep getting clean color.
All right. Well, come back on camera real quickly so people can see you.
Okay.
All right. I know
Technical. Okay, hang on a minute.
Yeah, okay. Our guest today has been Debra Huse. If you didn't see the whole thing about different brushes to use as your tools, how to use them properly or how she makes them work properly. That's great. You can visit Debra's website. We've put it in the chat, and that's where you can get her colors. We're not sponsored. We're just telling about people because they do good things. So Debra, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for asking me to be on your Art School Live. I love watching. I learn something every time I watch it too. And so it's been a real joy. Thank you.
All right, now stay there. Stay there. I'm just going to make the announcement. First off, I mentioned that Debra has 2 videos with us at painttube.tv, Impressionism with Debra Huse and Impressionistic Brushwork with Debra Huse. Okay, so here's the deal. We do these trips. We do one, sometimes every year, sometimes every couple of years. Last year we did Japan. We've done New Zealand twice. We've done Cuba twice. We've done Africa. And we did a survey of all of our travelers, and the #1 location that they said we want to go and do this is what I'm going to announce. Now, this trip is limited to 48 people, right? Because we can only get buses of a certain size. We want to keep it small and intimate. And so 48 people. We already notified our previous travelers yesterday and gave them 24 hours. And so that is up. I don't know how many have sold. I haven't looked yet, but and we have a sliding scale. So the price goes up as we get a little closer to our deadline, because we have a deadline that we have to make sure that we pay our deposits and things at the hotels. Okay. So I asked everybody where they wanted to go, and they said they wanted to go to Switzerland. So we're going to paint the small villages of Switzerland. This is called Plein Air Switzerland. And we are staying in mostly small villages where there are no cars. And they're in the view of the Matterhorn or the Jungfrau. We have some touring that we will do, but we also have a lot of painting that we'll do every day. And then after Switzerland, and I don't have something for this, but after Switzerland, we have an optional post trip to paint in Venice. We're also, by the way, part of the Switzerland trip, we're going to Lake Como, which of course Sargent and everybody else painted, and all of these people painted Switzerland. So we're going to Switzerland, and that is in October the 15th through 25th this year, and it's limited to 48 people, and that will fill up pretty quickly. So we'll get slides made of the Lake Como part, and also the post trip to Vienna. I mean, not Vienna, but what did I say? Venice. And so that's where we're going. We're going to have a great time. So please come with us. We'd love to have you come.
Oh, I would so love that. Do you know that 𝗨𝗹𝗶𝗰 goes there all the time? She's got a niece that plays volleyball there. So I've been looking at pictures from there for so long. It's so beautiful.
It's a fabulous trip, and we keep it limited, and it's a pretty high quality trip. We stay in nice hotels. We feed you everything. Everything's included except for your airfare. And I think there's one day when you have a shopping day and you have to buy your own lunch on that day, but everything else is included. So anyway, Debra, thank you for being here today. Thank you guys for watching. Art School Live is here every weekday at 12 noon. And we've been here since COVID. We just celebrated 5 years. If you're new to us, please subscribe. Go to YouTube, look up Art School Live, and hit the subscribe button. And then we're on every platform. Just follow me at Eric Rhodes. Thank you again to Debra Huse. This was one of the best ever. They just keep getting better. You would think we would run out of things after 5 years, but no, it just keeps getting better. Thank you guys. Have a really terrific day. And again, thanks to Debra Huse. Visit her website. Make sure to do that. Bye-bye.